So welcome to this week's Bitesize beginners class, where we're focused on yoga for lower back pain. And that's not just if you've got a bit of lower back pain going on, there are options obviously as part of this class that will be suitable for you, and it should help soothe your lower back pain, but also to help strengthen your lower back. So if you are looking to prevent lower back pain in the future, one of the best ways to do it is by yoga, and helping to stretch and strengthen your back muscles can really help improve your posture, but also help kind of solve those little tweaks and niggles in advance. So hopefully you'll learn some exercises that you can take away and use again. So we're going to start lying down on our backs this evening. So if you want to lie down on your mat and just bring your so bend your knees and bring your feet relatively close towards your bum, about hip distance apart. And I'd just like you to perhaps you can let your knees rest together, or you can just keep them upright. I'd like you to bring your hands to your belly and just start taking a couple of really deep breaths into the belly area, in through the nose, and starting to feel your belly rise on the inhale and sink back down towards your spine on the exhale. So feeling that breath expand through the body every time you inhale, and floating back down on the exhale. And a couple more breaths there. Lovely. And then on your next inhale, I'd like you to start tilting your pelvis upright. So start bringing it up, so just slightly every time you inhale, and then exhaling it back down. So pressing into your feet and perhaps the palms of your hands, spreading them out, inhaling up and exhaling down. And just working, feeling your bum and your hips lift off the ground, and then gently lowering them back down on your exhale. So working with your breath here. And then starting to use those palms and those forearms, pressing them really strongly into the ground, starting to create a bigger movement now. So every time you inhale, pressing into your feet and your heels, bringing your bum, and so your back ends up coming off the ground and you're on your shoulders and your feet, and then exhaling back down. And again, this gentle back bend or bridge pose is really good for starting to warm up our back, starting to engage those back muscles, and hopefully starting to build a little bit of stretch and strength down the back. If you do have any back pain going on, then again, just keeping with the pelvic lift or making the movement slower and gentler, maybe not extending all the way up, coming a bit lower, can be a good way to adapt this. Gently rolling back down. We'll do that a couple more times, continuing with our breath. And keeping those knees tracking above the ankles and the feet, checking that the knees haven't splayed in or out. And on your next exhale, just releasing your back, slowly rolling it down back to the ground. Just resting there and just noticing how your back feels. And then when you're ready, gently rolling over onto your front. And you've got an option, you won't actually need any props at all for this, but the only thing you might want is a blanket just underneath your hip area, or if you get any kind of tenderness or anything's pressing down. So lie on your front and bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, pressing your forearms into the ground, pressing into the tops of your feet so that you're switching the back of your body on, coming into your Sphinx pose. So I like to imagine kind of one of those Egyptian ladies with this pose, so pressing into those forearms, keeping your neck in line with your spine, rolling your shoulders up, back and down, trying to bring your shoulder blades slightly together, just again, starting to feel that bend in the back. I'm just holding that for a couple more breaths. Holding it like this. Pressing into the tops of those feet. Lovely. And then gently, you're going to come up to an all fours position. Bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Spreading your fingers nice and wide and checking that you're evenly distributing your weight throughout the whole of the hand. So they're not just in your wrist. You're going to press into the hand, roll your shoulders up, bringing those shoulder blades apart, sucking your tummy in and tucking your tailbone under into your cat. And then rocking the spine back, so bring that tailbone up, bringing your abdomen towards the mat, and bringing your shoulders through and your shoulder blades together, kind of up, back and down. Working all the way through. Exhaling when you're in your cat. Inhaling as you move into your cow pose. So with your tailbone up and your belly down towards the mat and your shoulders up, back and through. And continuing to work with your breath here, keeping it nice and dynamic. Depending on how your back's feeling today, you can make that movement bigger with every inhale and every exhale. Or just keep it nice and gentle, slightly smaller. If there's anything going on, just keeping it super slow and gentle. Just helping this movement of the spine warm everything up and hopefully soothe those aches and pains. Beautiful. And then coming to stillness. You're going to ground again into both hands. And this time raise your right hand up out to the side. So opening out the side of the body here. And then swooping it through on your exhale, bringing your forehead to the ground, perhaps coming onto the side of your face. Just feeling a gentle stretch down the shoulder that's on the mat. Lovely. And then gently, you're going to inhale it up and out. Exhaling it down to the mat. Inhaling the other arm up to the side. And then exhaling it through. Finding your thread the needle pose on the other side. Again, feeling the stretch in the left arm this time. Lovely. And again, on your next inhale, bringing that arm back up and out to the side, scooping it through and exhaling it back to center. And now we're going to come into another little back bend. We're going to do Cobra Pose, which you may have heard of. I'm going to kind of roll through it. So finding again that all fours position, bring your hands about 1 palm distance forward and keep those arms a little bit, so shoulder kind of distance apart, perhaps a little bit wider so you've got enough space to go through. And what you're going to do is gradually roll your whole body forward. So starting with the kind of bottom of your thigh and working your way all the way down super slowly, bringing the whole of your thigh down, your hip, your belly, and then pressing down your chest, bringing your head to the air, pressing into the tops of those feet. You're going to then roll yourself up the same way that you came. Again, peeling your body back, finding that bend in the knee to then bring your bum back towards your hips. And we're just going to roll through this a couple of times, just helping to ease what's going on in the back and strengthen it at the same time. So gradually rolling yourself down, going with your own pace here. And then hinging yourself up, pressing into your hands to allow yourself to peel yourself back, coming up onto those knees and then back into your extended child's pose. And continuing that a couple more times, rolling through, working with your own body. And then the next time you're coming up, I'd like you to hold where you're able to gently bring your hands off the floor. So this is our baby Cobra Pose. You've got an option to stay there, pressing the tops of your feet down and just pressing into the palms of your hands a little bit and bringing those shoulders up, back and down. Or if you'd like to extend it a little bit, you can push and your back's feeling okay and you haven't got any niggles, you can push up a little bit. If there's any twinging, just come back down. We're just going to hold it for 3 breaths here. So inhaling through your nose, exhaling through the nose. Just holding that pose, concentrating, checking those shoulders haven't crept up towards the ears. And then when you're ready, after your 3rd breath or so, pressing yourself back up, going to hinge those hips back. We're going to hold our extended child's pose. So option to bring those knees a bit further out and your toes touching each other to come into extended child's pose like this. You can always put a blanket or a block underneath your forehead to make it more comfortable. Again, holding that child's pose, feeling your spine settle after that movement. And bring your attention slowly back to the breath if it's drifted off. And then gently, when you're ready, you're going to roll yourself up and then down onto your back. Again, keeping your knees bent and your feet resting on the ground. Just want you to notice how your body feels. Now we've done that work on the spine. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to exhale your legs over towards the left-hand side. So just let them flop over to one side and then inhale them back to center and exhale them over to the other side. So you can play with how close or far away your feet are towards your bum. If you have them further away, it can kind of provide a little bit more of a spinal, a little bit closer towards your bum will provide a little bit more of a spinal twist. So it works slightly different muscles, your hips versus your spine. Have a little play of what feels good for you today. And keep working with that with your breath. Exhaling your legs over to one side and then inhaling them up to center. Again, just keeping your breath low and slow. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. And then you're going to gently bring those knees back up to center. And just bring those hands back to your belly. Taking a couple of big inhales through the nose. And deep breath, perhaps sigh everything out. Big breath, in breath through the nose. And sigh everything out. When you're ready, you're going to roll onto your favorite side, perhaps making a pillow with your arm. Just staying there for a couple more breaths. Before you gently, no rush at all, roll yourself upright into a comfortable seated position. That could be kneeling or cross-legged, or your feet outstretched in front of you, whatever feels comfortable for you today. And then when you're ready, you're going to inhale your arms up, round and over, so your fingertips meet above you. Exhaling them down towards your chest, your heart space. Bowing your head towards your hands, feeling your mind and body connect. Just take this moment to thank yourself for taking a little care of your back today. Perhaps thinking of these little moves you can do to soothe and strengthen your back in the future. And I'd like to thank you very much for practicing with me, and I wish you a very good week.